This week in league, Darren Lockyer frantically attempts to have Tony Carroll elected to the Broncos board to cover up his bad choices.
Yeri of Cleary, so majestic, punted coaches beg to stay another week just for the glory of losing to him.
The 2020 Booker Prize for Literature awarded to Ryan Madison for his stark tale of a club and its chances of ever winning a premiership.
Plus, we look ahead to all of the action for round 11 of the 2020 NRL season.
All that and more this week in league. Welcome to episode 360 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
What's happening, man? Or is that for the members?
That's for the members. I'm bruised, but I'll show you later.
Yeah, again, though. I mean, because you said you bruised last time.
Oh, yeah. Well, they didn't get a chance to go away.
Like, and when I'm saying it's not like, someone gave you a dead arm. I mean, you're basically like bruised on the dick root.
Welcome, new listeners.
Yeah.
That's for the members episode.
That's the sort of stuff you get if you sign up for Digi.
But, what a perfect week in 2020 Rona fucking paradise. Like, I don't live in fucking Victoria.
Oh, hallelujah.
Another week and another day that I can just frantically fucking masturbate to the Broncos implosion. And Penrith finish on top of the table.
You're welcome.
This fucking round, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for the fucking leg up.
So, yeah.
We couldn't get the job done.
Yeah.
You just came in and pushed us at it.
Well, we have to, yeah, I mean, we talk about that, but I mean, but for and I quote, fucking retard on the touch judge back in round whatever it was, 5, Manly would be like actually 2-0 against Parramatta this year, and it's a narrative year and everything.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a fine thing indeed for the. I mean, like I don't consider them the oldie enemy as much as some Manly fans do, but there's definitely the rivalries there. But I mean, for me, the Storm have far surpassed it. But yeah, it still brings a smile to my face.
Yes, certainly fucking does.
Let's get straight into the news, shall we?
Yes, let's.
The first one, Trentius turning around the one of the most unlikely and speediest turnarounds in head coaching recent history, I would suggest.
Yeah. In
agreeing to terms with the Doggies on a 3-year deal. So he'll be going there at the end of the year. So he'll be finishing this year with the Panthers. Mm-hmm. And because why not? It's practically fucking gardening leave. I mean, he's not doing anything.
Exactly.
And then he'll head over to Belmore to be the head coach of the Doggies. The CEO of the Doggies, Andrew Hill, confirmed the news, and he said, I quote, "We have acted swiftly to secure the services of Trent because we believe he's the right man to take our club forward. Having spoken to Trent on a number of occasions, we have been impressed with his vision for the future of our football team and how he will look to develop our players on and off the field. Trent has been around the game a long time and has a great knowledge of football and how to bring the best out of players. We all look forward to him joining the Bulldogs family at the end of this season." So, he gets washed out of a club a season and a half ago, and walks into a head coaching job again, pretty much right away, with only a couple of months of a weird season in an assistant role, tidying over between A and B. Think about head coaches who've been flushed out of a club for being fucking hopeless in history.
The other thing I'm trying to think of now, and the only other one I can think of is Cardi.
Yep.
But how often do you see a head coach get the punt and turn up as an assistant so publicly so soon?
That happens a lot, but it depends on the level of the head coach. For example, Trent he had nothing. So
no, but I'm saying
So he had to go but the point I'm making is compare and contrast with Neil Henry.
Yep.
Went from Cowboys down to the Titans.
That's it.
Paul Green went from Cowboys. He'll walk into the Broncos or the Warriors or something.
Yeah.
For sure. He'll walk straight back into another. However, if I don't know, Dean Pay, for example, he's not walking into the head coach of nothing.
100% he's not.
Maybe not ever.
But I'm just saying, Trent was a very high-profile assistant. You know.
Yeah, I think you know why.
There was a lot of attention.
I think because he's a sexy good bloke. He also is very close to people like Gus and Bob Fulton and all these people. Yeah. I feel like he gets a fucking darling ride from the media.
Yes, 100% he does.
And I mean, there are other people who do as well, but they're not coaches.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Johnses and and Freddie and people like that. They get a pretty good run of things too, but they're not. It's not this day in day out head coach thing that they're doing. Think of other like Trent was pretty much placed under zero pressure the entire time he was at Manly, and anytime there was anything pressurised, it wasn't him, it was the club's fault.
Yeah.
So that's a protected fucking species right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Ricky Stewart, he just has to fucking complain that the fucking clock on the wall is 2 minutes slow.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest whinging cunt.
Exactly.
And like, make no mistake, he is a whinging cunt. But like the spin that the media will put on that is like crazy in comparison. So he's a koala. He's a coaching koala.
The interesting thing is, with Trent's another example, and this is in coaching though, of paying for potential.
Yeah.
Back end, and I've heard this from a couple of sources, the issues at the Bulldog run to their board.
Yeah, there's a lot of infighting,
and there's apparently 2 sections of the board and a couple of swing votes.
Yep. There's an election later this year, I think. So
depending on what it is. And how's this for your club, where you will have it? It's almost like fucking politics, where one side will want something, and even if that's the best thing for the club, the other side will do everything they can to sabotage it and make it fail.
Because it's that side's idea.
Because it reflects poorly on them, and it gives them ammunition to say, well, fucking look at us.
Yep.
That's a fairly fucking shitty situation to be in. It is.
And, there are elections later this year, I think, so maybe that resolves itself one way or the other.
Who knows?
One side wins, maybe.
But in that instance, is one faction better than the other? Obviously it's better than having 2 there, but look, there's a lot of stuff on this we don't know. Who knows if they haven't gone, look, Trent's probably the least experienced at the moment.
Yep.
And we're in a situation where we don't have a great roster. And he seems to be able to bond with players, like even after his tumultuous exit at Manly, where it was pretty apparent that shit went downhill quick. The players spoke nothing but fantastically of him, and not just in that old.
We do have some very nice players though, who do say very nice things.
He came across as genuine. I didn't feel. That's what I'm saying. I didn't feel like that. Standard. I'll forever be grateful to everything he.
Yeah, because no one actually said that.
No.
Because no one actually was.
No one will be forever grateful.
It's the old adage of you don't have something nice to say, someone don't say anything at all. And so they'd say nice things and like.
Look, here's the thing, I'm not sure that Bulldog side. Well, not sure. I am positive that Bulldog side does not become a top 8 contender just by a new method of motivating the players to get out and do it for 80 minutes.
You know what? I think selecting best mates within the team and drinking piss with the players is in fact the exact opposite what that Bulldog side requires.
Correct.
And then he's going to get all funny about Adam Elliott when he fucking sees his dick out in the change rooms. He's going to be like, well, I can't be the man around here with a fucking tripod Elliot around.
But the problems at the Dogs, and especially going into such a strong environment, that club I think needs a coach that goes in there and says things like, righto, your fitness is fucked. Whoever's done the fitness program, it's shit. To be able to stand in front of the board and say all of these problems are so fucking simple.
Yep.
You cunts are all to blame for not fixing them sooner because it was well within your fucking remit to improve the quality of things and facilities available to training staff and sports scientists and all of this shit,
Yep.
they're 2 pegs below every other club.
Yep.
So, fuck.
And by all means, when they talk about people like getting poached by him, John Cartwright is a name. They fucking threatened me with a good time, Trent. You may have him. Is he the most invisible fucking assistant coach in the league at the moment? Pretty much, because let me tell you, Des Hasler doesn't need no fucking. He needs someone to carry out. He doesn't need your fucking ideas, Cardi. Shut the fuck up and just do what you're told. And wouldn't it be great if that if John Cartwright went over to the Doggies, and then it opened up an avenue and like Tubes came back or something to Manly? That would be the shit.
The manliest solution ever.
The manliest solution
Jesus
ever. Yeah,
Christ.
it would be amazing. They've said. And one thing we've known about Trent, he's protected by the media, but also he's a devious little bastard. And I was like, having him sat around your club, rich with juniors you probably can't afford to upgrade, is a problem. I mean, there was this whole the whole gardening leave thing with Manly as well. We had to fucking get rid of him.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be sat there. I mean, you can kiss Burton's ass goodbye. I reckon he's gone. He's the Doggies next year.
If he
and
goes,
I mean,
he
he's and look, while he's kind of surplus to your requirements at the moment, you'd hate to see people. You hate to see people go that are
100%, exactly. Oh, look, it's fucking painful every time.
Yeah.
You watch. That's the thing. Our very good friend and long-time OG Shunter reminded us recently about all of the fucking Penrith Junior hype train leaving. Every time someone signs a Penrith Junior, they pretty much say, well, now that we have this groundbreaking junior talent, we'll be sure to win a premiership within the next 2 years. Like, there were 47 cunts with the surname Jennings that were apparently going to go to clubs and change their fucking world.
Some very ordinary one landed at fucking Balmain.
And Michael is still the best NRL player.
And he's like 46 years old.
Yeah, fucking looks like Dick Van Dyke with his grey hair fucking running around the thing.
He looks like he's like Lethal Weapon 4 Murtaugh.
No, he's like the Naked Gun.
Leslie Nielsen though, not OJ.
No. So, and again, I would be terribly sad to lose Birdo. If he goes, he goes.
You're like sad Spurton.
That's the nature of it. Yeah, that's it. I'd be hurting Spurton for Burton. If it happens, it happens. I'm not sure. Like, Sexy Good Bloke could stand there and verbatim give the speech from any given Sunday and just change a couple of words to Bulldogs or Penrith.
Outdoor furniture.
Yeah. And I don't think any of those kids are looking at the Dogs as a better option.
No, but they do. But what he would do is say, "Wow, I can walk into that fucking team and run it. I'm the start. I'm in the halves. I own that team now. I would walk into that team. That'd be my team.
Do that.
And at the end of the day, that's what players want to win premierships, and they want to play first grade rugby league week in, week out, and be recognised for their talent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. The merry-go-round continues though with the apparently mutual agreement for Paul Green to depart the Cowboys on Monday morning. After they told, this is the funny thing, and in the mailbag, I know we got a comment about it as well later on the show, but the board told him last Wednesday, so 1 week ago from the time we were recording, that he was not part of their plans beyond this season. And so then he's like, so, okay, give us one more game because reasons, and now it sounds like it's mutual agreement. No, you were sacked, fella. But just because it's like when a chick wants to break up with you.
Yeah.
And and he's begging her to stay. And then he literally stays with her and she's like, okay. And then then he stays with 1 week and then he goes, you dropped. And then he goes around and then he walks around and he goes, I had to fuck her off. Yeah.
Bitch was It's wetting me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just I had to break up, but I just want to be clear that I broke up with her, and and yeah, so
That job was always going to be exceptionally tough. Taking that club to its first premiership was a massive fucking effort. That was pretty much a perfect storm.
Yes.
To that club. Like, they had JT, who did that JT thing where he was just absolutely frantic, and Greeny was magnificent at just tempering that a little bit. At just directing him or pointing him in the direction he needed to go or pulling him back when he needed it. Then he had to deal with the replacement, and he had Morgan, and he was lucky enough that he had that Origin rep time Morgan that got to spend all that time with Cooper Cronk and those other people that he credits for helping him out. Then they had that dream year where they made the grand final from 8th.
Yep.
Which is a fantastic effort as well.
Yep.
I'm not sure anyone could have kept that team together well enough after that premiership to...
Well, since 2008,
success.
Since 2018, and this is the part that's kind of been exposed in the aftermath. Their winning percentage slumped to 32%, which is crazy because everyone is very much rose-coloured and a bit blinded by the amazing finish to the 2015 grand final and the ridiculous run that they had a couple of years later. But he's on the market now, and as we were saying earlier, I mean, he's the type of head coach that the Broncos may want, the Warriors may want.
Yep.
And then you got then that brings like Kevy back in the mix because I saw today that Kevy's potentially could be a target for the Cowboys.
Kevy, I saw go out and say that he was going to help the Broncos.
I thought that was like a media generated thing. Was like, would you, if you were asked or something like that?
I thought they had asked, but
I thought it was like Seabold just sort of called him up and it was like an icebreaker sort of thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay.
But who knows?
Look, again, we've said this before. Whenever someone leaves a coaching role, everybody looks around and goes, "Who are the previous head coaches?"
Yes.
That don't have a job.
Yes.
Then they get the ones that just no one's spoken about for a little while.
Yep.
Like the old example, no one's talking about Ivan Henjak anymore.
No.
Where even is he? Is he in Super League as a fucking ball runner?
If
I don't know.
I had to guess, I would say he is a real estate agent.
Cool.
I have no knowledge about that.
Nice.
I don't have a clue
Nice.
what
Someone
he's doing.
Google that shit.
Yep.
But yeah, the other interesting thing is, until Rona's finished, New Zealand aren't going to settle their position.
No.
So until travel's unrestricted.
And also, there's not going to be the usual, potential jobs popping up over in England. And
yep. That's it. So who the fuck knows?
Next up, what have I got on my list here? We've got the old Joseph Suaalii situation. It was only a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about him getting offered this ridiculous fucking money, as a young fella to sign a contract to extend his contract with the Rabbits, and now it is said that he has backflipped on South Sydney to sign a monster $3 million deal with Rugby Australia. So it was, last month it was a 3-year, $1.7 million deal with the Rabbitohs in the NRL.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't register it until he turned 17 on August the 1st.
Yep.
So the 16-year-old has instead signed a mega 3-year deal with Rugby Australia, despite denials from the code about it. How does fucking Rugby Australia afford to pay a player 16 years, not quite 17 years old, that kind of money? The sport is broke.
See,
they just got a $20 million fucking... The TV rights deal is $20 million.
Yeah.
They've got no fucking...
Uh-huh.
They're broke.
I have no idea about the workings of rugby union, and I give not two fiddlers fucks, to quote a great man. But is there an international component to that? Whereas if you play international games, then international rugby union pays you a certain amount.
I don't know.
You know, as such as that for state of origin, it's New South Wales Rugby League that's paying the extras. It's not the club.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I don't know.
Who fucking knows? The club needs a fucking marquee. It needs a fucking marquee
Yeah.
because they have nothing else. The shitty thing is that both sports are really not somewhere where an individual can go all in.
Yeah.
Like again, you give the example of basketball and your 5-person on the floor rotation. You can pick up a kid from college and the hype is real. This kid comes out of college and he's the greatest thing that anyone's ever seen. Like this Zion kid that came out this year.
Yep.
You know, he's already a fucking Jordan athlete. He's got shoes. He's got all the hype.
Yep.
All of this shit's there because he's going to come in and have an immediate impact on that.
Yes.
And kids everywhere are going to be buying his jersey and screaming out his name in the playground when they're playing. Rugby league and rugby union don't work like that. You know? The last person that you had like that was Thurston. Because kids all wanted to wear the headgear and they wanted to, you know, kick this. Or I remember going to training, and this was years ago. And after training, the kids would get free time, and all they wanted to do was try and pot field goals.
Yep.
And they were screaming Thurston's name like he was Kobe.
Yep.
That's one of the only times I've ever seen that.
Yep.
So let them fucking pay him. If they do, I hope rugby league sits back and just says, look, do whatever the fuck you want. You're not bigger than our sport. We've got 1,000 people that are going to be better and more influential than you.
They'll take him back. You know, I think it's the greatest move ever for him. Can you imagine at 17 years of age, pocketing $3 million from the age of 17 to 20, then goes to rugby though.
Yep.
Gets to play rugby for Australia in the Tokyo Olympics next year.
That's it.
Gets to do these fucking rugby, things that they do. Then he can come back and then he can develop his career. He's still 20. He's still plenty young enough to start playing footy. Do his growing over there in that glorified hobby and get $3 million for it. So
yeah, fucking good on him.
The Broncos have allegedly told Jack Bird that he's free to exit the club immediately as they look to free up salary cap space to throw more cash at Fafita. Fafita is currently weighing up his $1.25 million per season offer from the Titans that we spoke about the other week. It's funny how it was like, offers were getting bigger and bigger and he was going one way and going the other way. And then it's like probably 2 weeks have gone by now and
just nothing.
There's no advance on that. Yeah. So the Broncos apparently can offer a maximum of $700,000 a year, but Bird's on contract with the Broncos until the end of this year with an option in his favour for 2021. He's earning just under $1 million a year. So the Broncos are
still better value than Ben Hunt.
Yeah, well, Broncos are reportedly open, although certainly better value than Milford. I mean, I think Ben Hunt's actually provided value the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's very true.
But the Broncos are reportedly open to pay a team $400,000 to transfer Bird, which will free up over $500 in their cap, which they could use to top up Fafita's offer and get it somewhere close to where the Titans' offer is.
Fuck.
They're saying a transfer to either the Bulldogs, Dragons, or Sharks could be on the cards.
We know the Sharks do love a prodigal son. They've done it with Ramian.
Correct.
The Sharks do not hold a grudge. If you come back, they'll welcome you with open arms, and all of a sudden it's fucking Zig Heil. Let's go stomp out the brown people together again.
Yep.
Fuck, you know what? If you're, let me put this to you. If you're Jack Bird, what do you do?
I fucking say eating Maccas at the Broncos, and then I'll pocket another $1 million and do the same thing next year.
Yeah. Are you worried about your worth? Because if I'm him, I'm worried about my worth. I'm worried about being the fucking scapegoat just because of injury.
I am not worried about my worth. If I can only play 17 games in 3 years, I'm not worried, and I'm being paid $1 million a year for those 3 years. I get released to somewhere else and they pay me half of that, and the injuries are exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that money built up in case the next injury is the last injury.
Yeah, okay.
And in case it's the one that stops me from doing anything ever again.
Okay. So you're saying right now you'd look for a 2 or 3 year deal because you know a club can get you a bit cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean, but I would be taking everything in my favour that the Broncos are committed to.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's another like year and a half.
Isn't it another year and a half?
Well, it's
the end of next year.
The rest of this year and then next
Plus
year.
next year. Yep.
Yeah. So we just had round 10, so I mean we are halfway through the season, right? So like a season and a half. So you're talking about, 1.3 maybe 1.4 million, something of that nature. It's a lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fucking money for a football player.
Yeah.
Not just a regular person.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, if you're Jack Bird, are you thinking that, all of a sudden, let's say I'm on $1 million.
Yep.
I'm now technically a player that's worth between 6 to 8.
Yep.
Do you look for that now, or do you count on getting fit next year and being $1 million player again?
I think that
is Jack Bird ever going to be $1 million player again?
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's hard to say, right? I mean, you don't know, but he's not old. He's only 25. So I would, if I'm trying to increase my worth or maximize my worth as a player, then I'm going to do it when I'm being paid in a team that's garbage, where I can actually look like a fucking hero when I come back from injury and be paid $1 million to do it versus toiling away.
So to that point, though, no one's beaten down the door for Anthony Don.
Well, no.
We had offers, but
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Bird wants to go to a club that's actually not fucking busted.
Anthony Don's a finish merchant though too. Though I mean, like that's great, but Bird
did have some actual talent. Yeah,
he can actually, he can actually make a difference in a side.
Yeah,
like he could make if his knees don't blow out, he could certainly make a difference at the Dogs.
100%.
100%.
Yep. Correct.
There's probably less of a need for him down at the Sharks. But the Dragons, I think he'd be fucking great down there too.
Yep.
Especially considering they're losing a couple of guys as well, Yeah. So, but he could make a difference for those guys for sure. But
that's a lot of fucking freight to get rid of a player. Hey,
it is.
So there's no bad outcome here.
And it just shows how fucked the Broncos are. That they're one of those clubs now where they've got to try and shed shit and pay players to go elsewhere and pay over players because they're cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I think you got Bird and then you got Darius, and then you got Milford.
Yep.
That's a fucking mega chunk of a salary cap right there.
Looking over that team, we mentioned this before. Who do you pluck out of that team right now and put into yours?
Oh, maybe, maybe. Well, I mean, Fafita is obviously great.
Yep, Fafita.
And then very big maybes over Pangai Jr. and Payne Haas.
Yep.
Because they are both good, but man, Payne Haas
can fucking Madeline McCann.
Oh my God, some of the fucking weak defense that comes out of I mean, they're flat track bullies.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that a better coach could actually get that out of them. Especially Pangai. I think a better coach could get the disciplinary shit that gets him suspended every month out. Easily, and just rein him in, and just get him to focus on what he does best.
Yep.
Payne Haas probably the same as well. It's kind of hard to completely judge players on what they're doing at the Broncos because that club has at the moment it's really got the air of not giving a fuck. Players don't give a fuck. Yeah. And it's just got all those things no talking under the post, players not even fucking huddled up or looking at each other up. Just. There's just nothing there. So it's hard to sort of establish value for players on that. But those three that I mentioned, the only three, wouldn't take a single back they've got in the entire club. Maybe Osako as a winger because he's a fucking pretty good goal kicker.
Yeah.
But that would be like even that's like a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. And all under the fucking watch of super administrator Darren Lockyer.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hate to see it.
Yep.
Hate to see it.
Yeah, I was saying to you tonight before we were recording, but who would have thought? Go back, a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought that Darren Lockyer would become like the Darren Lockyer to the Broncos would become as Benny Elias is to the West Tigers and Balmain. An absolute degenerate fucking pariah. Like who is so bad in a commercial sense that it almost fucking completely eradicates the gloriousness that they achieved on the field for that same team.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I would never have thought that would be like if you told me that Ben Eichen or something. Yeah, I believe it 100%. But man, like Darren Lockie, it's Lockie. There's a statue and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, while out there knocking down Confederate statues, you watch how long that one lasts.
Man, that one never goes. See, this is the thing about Queenslanders.
Yeah.
That is akin. The same disease that afflicts them there is the same one that's afflicting the Broncos board at the moment. For them to tear that down, they would have to admit that their views are fucked.
Yeah, it's true.
It won't happen.
Yeah.
It's fucking glorious. I'm enjoying every minute of it.
And just briefly, the other one that I just saw was the old Wolfpack have withdrawn from the Super League season, and ESL. I'm not even going to pretend that that's our fucking our realm or domain to speak about, but man, you've got a lot of players there who've been brought from overseas, like from Australia, New Zealand, like Sunnyville, and and there's issues with the players getting paid. There's been delays in getting paid. Plus the COVID, they can't come.
Yeah,
they can't come back.
That's it.
Like it's a fucking terrible situation. And after such a meteoric rise through the lower competitions over there, to have their first foray into the Super League, cut down by well, obviously a pandemic that no one saw coming.
Yeah,
I mean, among other things, is just it must be just absolutely fucking heartbreaking for the players. But the funny thing is, one thing I've noticed, I sort of just did a look around on Twitter just to try and take the temperature. When the Warriors were in a similar situation, not the distance is obviously far greater for Toronto, but the general principle of a team in the competition that's located in another country, etc., when they fell into problems, I mean, the fan bases in general around the Warriors are just like, fuck, it's everyone. It's their second team, and there's this big enveloping fucking love for the Warriors, and look, we appreciate what you're doing.
Yep.
To keep the competition,
That's
in its entirety, blah blah blah. Stay away from your families, but they've been embraced. Look on Twitter about the Toronto, and fans of the other clubs are just like fucking suck a dick. Like that's what you get. You fucking shit show. That's like the general. And I'm like, wow. What a pack of insular cunts.
Yeah.
The supporters and the clubs over there in the Super League are, fucking hell. But yeah, I would suggest you go and listen to Super League Pod. They released an episode this week. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. It's only just the last couple of days. And I know that it's the focus or, a large part of the episode. So if you want to dive deeper, listen to those guys. And they've got their finger on the pulse.
Nice.
Okay, so recaps this week. Well, last week we said that we were, at the start of this season, in fact, we said we were going to try and figure out a way to
Rejigger the format.
rejig the format a little bit, or just to kind of streamline it a bit. Ideally, so that we can jam more of the news and that sort of stuff into the show, because as of the games are 24 hours away from being a week old, so you've heard it all. There's been a week worth of Fox programming and all that sort of thing, before you get to our podcast on Thursday morning.
And so, by this stage, if you're coming to us for your fucking source of all NRL news, fucking have a good long hard look at yourself. Get a fucking KO subscription and watch them yourself, you lazy fucks.
So what we're going to try this week is we're going to try and just mix it up a little bit, and but at the same time, with the spanner, we're like, wow, okay, but if we mix it up, how do we get the tweets in? So we've come up with a solution. We're going to give it a run this week, see how it all goes, see what you people think. We'll take your feedback on it, and we'll move on. So Thursday night we had the Raiders 24 defeating the Roosters 20 at the SCG. The Raiders 24 came from tries to Dynamis Louis, Jared Croker, George Williams, and Josh Papali. Croker 4 of 4 conversions. The Roosters 20 came through a double to Brett Morris, Ikavali with a try, Flanagan 2 of 3 conversions, and a couple of penalty goals.
We're going to move straight into the game tweets on this one. Stuart in the Facebook group said, I wanted to sleep on this comment because I know you guys love to rip into a ref's falter. That captain's challenge has left a bad taste in my mouth. Not because the wrong decision was made, on the contrary, fuck the Roosters, but because it had to be a challenge in the first place. I'm starting to feel like the challenge system is a bit of a band-aid fix for not just bad refereeing, but the gamesmanship taking over the game. Not only should Canberra not had to risk a challenge to get that right, but the Roosters should be penalised for the dive to discourage it. I think you're off target there, man. And by that I mean I agree with you 100% that diving and that sort of shit country needs to be stamped out of the game. I don't think it's got anything to do with the captain's challenge. Up until the point where the directive is sent down, that referees or the bunker or whoever the fuck it is can penalise for something essentially not in the spirit of the game, that shit's not going to fly. So, yes, whilst I agree with you 100% of sentiment, I think you're a bit off. James in Facebook said, has there ever been a better player that transitioned from fullback to 5'8" better than Whiten? I can't think of a single one. And I would also trust Whiten to be an administrator of his club and run that quite effectively as well. Brendo said, taking the penalty goal showed the Raiders we were worried about them. They should have backed themselves. The amount of soft tries scored through the middle in the last few weeks is a worry. Nigel, unfortunately, we looked a bit slow tonight. Need a freshen up. Oh, that's what got rid of Blake Ferguson, allegedly. Adam said, credit to the Raiders for some tough defence. Rattled the chook shed. It really was backed on that. And the final word on that will go to @AndyKintz from Twitter. It was awesome seeing my Raiders win on a Thursday, but I got more enjoyment seeing the Broncos crushed on Friday. Hate is greater than love.
I hear you.
That sums up the sentiment of this show perfectly.
Haters are the Storm 42 defeat the Gold Coast Titans 6 up at Sunny Coast Stadium. The Storm's 42 tries to Munster, a double to the Fox, a double to Big Nelson. Branko Lee and Brandon Smith also with tries, 6 of 7 conversions to Cameron Smith, and a penalty goal. The Titans 6 came through a solitary try to Brian Kelly and conversion from Ash Taylor.
Lee on Facebook said, the best thing about this win was seeing that Munster didn't skip a beat after a few weeks off and watching the Broncos get smashed an hour later. Fuck, that's my weekend done. I sense a reoccurring motif.
And it just means that the shows find their audience, and the audience finds their shows. Welcome, and we appreciate you. We feel the same way, and it just feels good in these troubled times to have this unspoken rapport with people that you maybe not never met.
You ever walk past someone in the street and not know them at all, and just like nod for no reason? You just felt that the universe needed you to nod at each other. It's like that. Bethany said, "This win doesn't bring me much joy. It's like beating a 5-year-old at pickup basketball. Titans are, at the very least, are better than they were last year and should jag at least a few more wins. Tino was immense in this game. While it sucks to have him leave us, the Titans need him." Tristan said, "I can't believe that game has this many posts. Yuck." There are a lot of posts on this game. Jai Arrow should have crawled out onto the field at kickoff and offered Smith 13 plus and Fogarty's knee, and the universe would have been 80 minutes better off. Hammers said, "This won't be as embarrassing as the Broncos game." Winston Bunk said, "Obviously the Titans' healing crystals stopped working after the first 15 minutes. Norts said, "Titans are so brave. If the Storm had any ticker, they would have put 50 on the Titans." Zoran said, "Are we sure that Ash Taylor isn't getting red balloon gift vouchers to play in the Titans? Jesus, he's woeful in every aspect, let alone being one of the highest paid league players. Tell me about it." I'll give a final say here to a whinging fucking shit cunt that went off about not having his tweets read out.
Which one?
Grover. So when the best fucking content you can put out in a week is asterisk disrespectful penalty goal, you get a fucking pity readout, son.
Yeah.
Get better.
Fucking lift, mate. Now onto the game that the whole world was waiting for, allegedly. Or apparently. The Tigers 48 defeated the Broncos 0 at Leichhardt Oval. The Tigers 48 came through tries to Nofaluma, Harry Grant, Benji Marshall, double to Lucky Leilua, double to Luke Garner. Sam McIntyre and Billy Walters round out the scorers with Mbai 6 of 9 conversions. And just to be clear, the Brisbane Broncos scored 0.
I will just say on that last one,
Mm-hmm.
I was with a mate the other day chatting about the games.
Yep.
There's all these Facebook groups, where the essence of them is, show us your multi.
Okay.
And people just put like outlandish multis that they've landed on.
Yeah.
And like one guy had a multi with like every single fucking Melbourne Storm player, anytime try scorer. It's absolute fucking shit cutter. It's great. Stuart Marler said, "Seabold said he can't defend that performance, bringing the tally of Broncos that can't defend to 18.
I love that one. That's great.
The War Dentist says, "Benji Marshall is the Kiwi GOAT and more deserving of immortal status than Darren Lockyer, who is significantly responsible for the demise of the once powerful Broncos. That is a narrative that I am happy to push for you or on your behalf." Shunter said, "After a thorough review of the season so far, Darren Lockyer has confirmed that the Broncos' current woes lay squarely at the feet of former halfback Ben Hunt, who took $1 million from the Dragons when Darren doesn't think he's worth that much money." One-Eyed Tiger said, "I sat in the stands in 2017 at Suncorp and watched us get beat 36-0. Tonight was the most redemptionist of redemptions. 48-0 will never be forgotten. Tigers incline, Broncos decline. Dragons, lend them a Mars bar, and Sharks, send them some dicks." Stuart said, "I feel like the Broncos are going to take the focus off the real story here. Taking Luke Brooks out of your starting lineup is worth at least 40 points. Aaron Ma said, "At the beginning of the year, I put the Tigers draw into the calendar on my phone. 10 minutes before kickoff, I got a notification to say that under the old draw, we were supposed to play the Roosters at Bankwest. So it turns out that not everything about the Rona is bad." Garth, with an apt surname, says, "I hate my fucking team. It's fucking embarrassing. How the fuck can they call this defense?" Yeah, dude's pretty poor. Adam in Facebook said, "Croft better be dropped next week for that effort." Tell you what, we're starting to get a lot of realistic Broncos fans in the Facebook group.
Well, I mean, it's taken literally 50% of a season for them to accept the facts that are in front of them.
Yeah. Nasty.
But, I mean, I give no credit to them for doing it, though.
At Charlie2, that's CHARLII 2 on Twitter, said, "Kudos for the West Tigers for not kicking the disrespectful field goal in their thrashing of the Broncos."
I don't like there are no kudos for that.
No.
You must. It would have. It's literally the only thing that could have made this better.
Yes, Exactly.
Other than like, another 5 tries or something like that. But at any scoreline to nil, any big scoreline to nil, like a
And
field goal is a must.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
a must.
And a first-time tweeter of the show, at Sports Fans Life. Go and give him a follow. Check him out. He seems to fit in quite nicely. Tweeted
Because
one
he's
word.
a thumb. I mean, the thumbs tend to fit in quite nicely.
He just tweeted inclines.
Oh, well, let's hope we don't hear too much more out of him then, hey?
That's it. I get the feeling he'll go away and never come back.
The Dragons 28 defeat the Bulldogs 22 at win. The Dragons 28 came through a double to Dufty. Ewan Aitken, Jason Saab, Corey Norman with tries. Zach Lomax 4 or 5 conversions. The Doggies 22 came through tries to Marshall King, Meaney, and Fatala Mariner. 3 conversions and 2 penalty goals to Meaney.
Lando, Facebook group says, I feel like I was pegged. It was uncomfortable. There was a result. I came. I'm not proud of it. I was glad it finished eventually. Andrew Kirby said, I wonder how much Marcelo Montoya won by taking a play out of the Ryan Tandy playbook. Dragons 1-12. There was a lot. There were like 30 people that had some variance on fuck you Dragons, we want a Broncos wooden spoon.
Yep.
Mitch said the sound of puckering sphincters can currently be heard echoing throughout Wollongong. In other news, Mars stocks are down. Dev said, we just anal the dogs like Anonymous analed his missus. Non-digital subscribers are missing out. And look, as I like to do, we'll give one to GT351_Johns. We looked much better this week. Most Dragons points came on the back of our simple, stupid errors. How did Woe Manly get dusted by this mob, for fuck's sake? Dogs lost to Dragons here. Dragons did not beat us. Had 4 and been on last 20, we win this one. And just a bit of in memorandum. The show has lost someone very special to us.
Oh, who?
Giannis Mateus balls. As we all know, he had some fucking gigantic clackers down there.
Yes.
On Friday, I went to snip without anaesthetic. That was less painful than this game.
Why without anaesthetic? Like,
I don't know.
Is that like some personal fucking like point of like?
Look, I don't know. Maybe it's like some women want a natural birth. Maybe you need to give your swimmers a natural death. I don't fucking know.
I would have thought it'd be like the opportunity to like, be like, LOL, I'm Josh Dugan, green whistle.
Yeah, you know what though? In that situation,
Yeah.
like I know it's low, but there being a chance that I'd get some sort of doctor that would like just paint his dick green and wave it in my face.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm not prepared
exactly
to take that.
what percentage chance?
It's not zero.
I think it would be very close to 0.
See, very close is not 0.
Yeah, but I mean, smack's not going to remove your ability to tell a difference between a penis and a green whistle.
Oh no, I'm just saying it might just remove my inhibitions.
Well, I mean, all that's doing then is just like amplifying your innate desire to suck a penis. And the colours becomes irrelevant at that point.
It's called a disco whistle. Thank you very much.
You done with those tweets?
Yep.
Knights 20 defeat the Rabbitohs 18 at Bankwest. The Knights tries to TWiL, Ponga, Kurt Mann, and Bradman Best. 1 of 4 conversions to Ponga and a penalty goal. Defeating the Rabbits tries to Nichols and a double to Damien Cook. Reynolds 3 conversions.
Ross in the Facebook group said, when all is said and done, my beloved Knights are not a genuine premiership threat this year, or better than the Roosters. But after 10 games, I'll be in the top 4 and above the 2-time premiers. I'll take that. Daniel said, there's no sweeter win for a Knights fan than one over a Wayne coach side. Suck our Nova Castrian cocks from the back, you putrid roster-destroying cunt. Choices. Bit harsh.
Well, no, I mean, you're surprised Knights fans don't like Wayne.
Well,
You know, the thing is, though, I mean, you never really hear him saying much about old fucking Fatty Tinkler.
yeah, true. Yeah, true.
And he had as much, if
It wasn't
not
Wayne
more.
that stopped paying cunts.
Exactly.
Danny said, I was just about ready with my Mars bar if the Bunnies came back to win it. Also, the Bunnies fans booing can eat a bag of dicks. Play the scrum where it lands. Jesus. Okay. And Terry said, it's like Seabold has returned to Souths. That's it.
The Mighty Manly Seagulls 22 defeated the Parramatta Eels 18. At Brookie, Manly's 22 tries to Marty Tapau, DCE, Danny Levy, and Joel Thompson. Garrick, 3 of 4 conversions. And the Eels, a double to Michael Jennings, Wanga Blake, and George Jennings tries. Gutho, 1 of 3 conversions.
Anthony said, lucky to catch Para on an off night, but still showed a shitload of guts to seal it. Always proud when a win is a win like this. Oh yeah, and suck my dick from the back, Para. Ryan said, redemption. Eat a bag of dicks, Parramatta, because the touchy with the painted on eyes couldn't save you tonight. Brave effort from the boys after suffering through those injuries. DCE had an absolute blinder. Century of DCE and puts Yuri of Cleary to shame. Look, I'm not going to pretend I know what that means. That sounds like some fucking weird, like my dad fucking jizzed into a fucking Atari 7800 once, and 9 months later, Cherry Evans was born.
Oh,
David.
if only Adam could see you now, I think he'd have some choice fucking words for you.
Oh, well, you know what I'd do?
What?
Fucking sneeze on the cunt and put him into a coma.
Ah, but he's had his jab.
Yeah.
He's all good. He's joined the land of the have-vaxxers.
Oh, no, I'm not saying I'd give him the flu. There's 100 other things that I've got that he's got no protection for.
Yeah, I mean, most of them delivered via if you had to, you'd have to fuck him to pass them on.
No, that's how condensed it is in my body. Now, if I just inhale deeply and spit at someone, I can give them AIDS media. At Fish Goose on Twitter said, I put the kids to bed and missed the start of Paramanly. So I jumped back on KO and put the phone down. 15-minute delay from live. Proceeded to watch Paramanly from round 4. We won. At Splendid Absalom said, it was worth losing 3 in a row to be able to watch Parramatta once again specialise so completely in failure. Yes. And final word goes to at C64 Mid Resi on Twitter. Said, well done to Manly. Desi pulled a dazzler. Eels never went away, but Evans was everywhere. He has grown so much as a player. Well done, Manly.
Is that it?
That's it.
Sharkies 46 defeat the Warriors 10 at Central Coast. The Sharkies 46 tries to Hamlin Ueli, Johnson, Will Kennedy, Mulatalo, or Mutt, as he should be known.
Whoops.
Katoa with a double and Ramian with a double. Sean Johnson, 7 of 8 conversions. The Warriors had tries to Ken Mamalo and Wade Egan and a conversion to RTS.
Warriors almost as head-fucked as the Broncos. It was Michael in the Facebook group. Fuck, there's a lot of Michael Warriors fans. Another Michael, who's not a Warriors fan, said, we won, the Warriors are bad and don't want to be here. On to the next. Robert said, Sharks deserve to beat us by 50. We are bad, but we ain't Broncos bad. Clevo said, hashtag horny for Shawnee. It's not going to be a thing, man.
You know, the problem is, it's all fucking been started now. Every single one that has jumped off this year is your fault.
Well,
your fault.
Yeah, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Imitation is the sincerest form of getting the most surefire form of getting absolute bucket loads of shit fucking hashtags thrown in the mix all fucking season.
Well, hashtag Yuri of Cleary. It is what it is.
Hashtag Century of DCE.
And at Sam Gra 589030076, there's a shitload of fucking Sam Gras on Twitter. Don't just click the fucking handle they recommend to you. As a Warriors supporter, watching today's game was about as fun as pushing a Macca straw into the eye of my phallus. Can't wait for next week against East. Stay positive, brother.
The Panthers 22 defeated the Cowboys 10 at Panthers Stadium. 22 came through tries to Luai, Cleary, Naden, and Crichton. 3 or 4 conversions to Cleary. The Cowboys 10 tries to Tabuai Fido and Arcee. Felt 1 of 2 conversions.
Monique in the Facebook group said, sloppy first, but Cleary grabbed that second half by the balls. Indeed, he did. Stewart said, another solid performance from the Panthers. Cowboys played very well, but we always looked in control, which is especially promising given we finished with 2/3 of our backline. Consistent with what we've done all season, we built that win on our defence and did just enough in attack. Other than Sharks last week, that's been the story of our season, and here we are at the top of the table. Fuck yes. Chris in Facebook said, an ugly win is still a win. Champions come out on top though. Hashtag Yeary of Cleary. James said, an ugly match. Penrith played well below par, didn't respect the opposition and nearly paid the price. But 2 points is 2 points and at the top of the table we go. All I ask from here on is the boys don't let it go to their head. Hashtag Yeary of Cleary. Hashtag Willies for Billy. Because Billy Burton showed his dick on the field. Not on purpose.
Yeah, as I was saying on Facebook this afternoon, someone in the mailbag, I think it was Terry, said, discuss. And a picture, I'm like, well, I said,
it's a peen.
If you pull that out of the ocean with a fishing rod, you'd be legally obligated to throw it back in to become full grown. What else can you discuss about it?
Yeah, come on. Let's be frank here.
Are you saying he's a grower, not a shower?
No, I'm saying that Andrew Eddinghausen isn't showing off either of our dodgers if he catches out of the ocean either. So,
I'm fairly comfortable.
Graham said, Yeary of Cleary, simply a class above. We haven't seen a half defend like him since Joey. At Geo_Ute from Twitter said, King Chinius brings the goods. Hashtag Yeary of Cleary. And the biggest tiger says, wow, Cleary was amazing in this game. Truly Yeary of Cleary. Fucking is.
He does. I don't think he said that at all. I think you're actually reading. You're not reading his tweet correctly.
Wow, Cleary was amazing in this game, truly.
And
hashtag Yeary of Cleary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he doesn't say hashtag Yeary of Cleary. He's pushing his own separate agenda, going hashtag Cleary's year or something like that.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you fucking got it in front of you unless you wrote it down by hand.
No. You hashtag Yeary of Cleary. You are fake news.
I'll have to double check that because I think you are actually roping in someone into your fucking charade that unfairly so. Because I mean, history is going to look back on people using that hashtag very unkindly, and it's probably going to be a reason for cancellation of life and career within the next fucking 3 years. So I certainly know that when I assume command of this junta, the first thing I do, my first order of business is to open up twitter.com, do a search for hashtag you Cleary and send my fucking Gestapo to round those motherfuckers up.
Look, I'm just impressed that we haven't had the rival hashtag all Yearies matter.
Ugh.
Which I was expecting, honestly, from most of the Cronulla fans.
Yeah, you'd actually think, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because let's face it, I mean, the Venn diagram between hashtag all lives matter and hashtag up Cronulla is a fucking circle.
Yeah.
Like 100% a circle.
Exactly.
Where are we? We've got... That was it. That was the last game.
That's the last game. So now we're going to move into previews. And in discussing that, we'll go through last starts.
Yes. And we'll see how that works. How you feel so far? Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay, previews this week. First up, the Thursday game is the Eels taking on the Tigers at Bankwest. the Ant Jungle Cup, and the Eels. They've got Blake Ferguson coming back into the wing. They've got Mitchell Moses coming back in the half. They've got Ryan Madison coming back in the second row. They have got rid of George Jennings, Jai Field, and David Gower, all outside the 17, and Brad Takarangi in 17. The Tigers. Look, I just need to quickly crack open Twitter because I think there's been a number of ructions in the Tigers lineup over the last couple of hours. What I'm looking at on Tuesday is that Cheekham's come into the second row and Garner has gone out of the side. But I think that it's crazy. I think there's way more that's happened since then. I know I'm fairly sure that Thomas McHaley's out. I'm not sure who else. I'll have to have a look and see. Just want to scroll through quickly because I remember before we started recording, I started seeing these things. Yeah, McHaley's out, they say. Fuck it, they've lost a lot more people. I haven't got the latest update in front of me. But yeah, I would expect the Tigers team to look a lot different to the one that we got that we were given for Tuesday, and not that I thought the Tigers really a massive chance of winning the game, but I think their chances may have decreased even more so. So the Eels last week were absolutely fucking repugnant in the first half, and you know what? They were for large parts of the second half as well. I mean, if they weren't given possibly the worst fucking video ref decision we've had this year, I know there was a bad one. There was a bad one in that Warriors-Titans game last week, or the week before, and Canberra got cunted with something too in, not last week, in the last round, but the round before's games as well. But that fucking strike with the explanation from the fucking video referee saying it was essentially Marty Tapau likes to offload. So based on the fact that he's offloaded in the past, I'm going to say that he was probably... I'm going to creep inside his fucking mind with my fucking king brain genius referee brain and say he was probably going to offload that time as well. So in that case, it was okay to have a two-man strip because he was probably going to try and offload at some point. Fucking retarded. Cancel me, bitch. Other Manly defended, very well. Obviously, with massively down on troops. Sivo, I can't believe he's fronting up, again this week after being fucking ended by Brad Parker, who crossed over the entire width of the field to fucking murder him at the end of the game, just out of spite.
Look at it. Parramatta have realistically dropped one game. They did it when they were down on troops more than at any stage for the rest of the year. They get a lot of those troops back. Looking at how West performed against Brisbane, the scoreline was fucking massive, obviously. Yes. And you need to take advantage of opportunities when they come in front of you. But looking over it, the Tigers still missed 27 tackles against a Broncos team that was doing very fucking little in attack.
The thing is with the Broncos team as well, they were given, literally given 4 tries.
Yeah.
Just through
stuff like the fuck up and Benji picking it up and running in, or
no, but just Payne Haas just waving a guy through.
Yeah,
fucking.
Or the Broncos just being 3 men offside.
Oh, and you see that one when
you see
that one when Asako just fucking spears in from the wing,
second rower
he spears in from the outside. And takes absolutely nobody, leaving 2 guys just there to do whatever the fuck they want.
That's it. And again, you need to be good enough to convert those when they're in front of you.
Yep.
And it was still an 80-minute game. There was still some fucking hard work done in the middle. But I think both last week's starts can potentially give you a false sense of how close this game would be. I expect Parramatta to win it very easily.
Yeah, I think Parramatta. I mean, this is the thing. Parramatta's done extremely well covering the loss of Mitchell Moses.
Yes,
extremely well. Until last week. But yeah, with him coming back in the side, I just expect their general level of game management to to level up, and I think that they'll probably get back more, back to the way that they have been playing. Because I mean, they weren't great the week before either against the Knights, but I expect them to get back to something like what we've seen. And look, as you said with the defense of the Tigers, I mean they're certainly happy to oblige a side that has better attacking weapons than the Brisbane Broncos and an actual something to play for.
That's it.
The North Queensland Cowboys take on the mighty Manly Sea Eagles at Cuntbank. What's it called? The bedpan up there. Something else.
The glue factory, didn't we?
Yeah, the glue for the ab. Well, that wasn't the Abside. No, it was the was it Abside? Yeah. I just saw the match officials and saw Henry Perenara. I thought, Henry, I'm going to send that up as no try and fucking let the video referee make the decision for me, Perenara. But it just fucking triggered me all over again. This bullshit with these video referees. I love that they're trying to get old players in there, not as necessarily the guy in control of the video referee. Like they'll have an established referee and then like a co-star. Yeah. For example, in this game, Jared Maxwell's a video referee and Brian Norrie's in there.
Yep.
The tradesman, like fucking Victorian country fucking guy that did a job for Craig. Last week in the Manly game, it was fucking, who was the main guy? I can't remember. Fucking lost it. But the ex-player, Bo Scott, in a game featuring Parramatta.
Like, in the interest of time, could we just do a TLDR? You're fucking refs faulting because Manly is shit.
No, they won the game. All I'm saying is...
You said last week. You said last week.
No, this game, this is the game against the Eels.
Oh, the game... Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the previous
one. Yeah, so a game that Parramatta's in features a player who the team he played for...
Yeah, that's cool.
was in the game. And considering you've got all these old players and you've got all these referees and all that sort of shit, it's very fucking easy to throw him into any one of seven. Choose fucking seven games to throw him into that don't feature his ex-team. It's just fucking stinks a bit. But especially when then they conjure up this fucking Wanga Blake strip bullshit fucking, one of the worst decisions ever. You both got in there.
Tell you what, for not refs faulting, you seem to be fucking refs faulting a hell of a lot. You fucking refs faulter.
What I'm doing is I'm fucking refs bashing. And the reason I'm because it's refs. I mean, you can't say, "Oh, it's the refs' fault." It's we won. It's your fault. No, it's to your credit. If I'm going to say something about the refs, it's to their credit that we won. However,
that's a term just in the popular vernacular that means ref bashing. Yeah, since you fucking coined the fucking thing, you should understand that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I coined it after observing fans of your fucking side, to be perfectly honest, absolutely detonating.
And we are proud to be your muse.
But do better. And if Bo Scott, if I was a video referee, I was an established first grade referee, and I'm in the video referee box and Bo Scott's there.
So in this new format, we're talking about fucking Parramatta playing Wests, and you're on a fucking cunt Manly refs fault tangent. But
if you were refereeing video refereeing a game, and Bo Scott's in there, as if you were like, that's a fucking try, cunt. I'll fucking bash you. You'd be like, yes, Mr. Scott. I'll tell you what. This time, how about you press the button?
No.
You make it go green.
Yeah, that's it.
You can control the chicken time.
Tell you, if this new format was a fucking surface, it'd be Brookvale Oval.
Fucking glorious looking surface, too.
This is snapping ACLs in my brain.
Oh, it's a fucking beautiful field at the moment. I mean, it's just amazing with COVID giving it actually a good rest. But the Cowboys, look, they're a fucking dire side. Having Paul Green with them for one more week did them no favours whatsoever. They have a lot of youthful exuberance in young players that look like they may go on to become something. But this week, when you look at I just don't see Jake Clifford and Dejan Arce as the halves pairing of the fucking next generation. Yeah. Obviously, Morgan's yet to come back, and I think he might come back next week.
Yep.
But there's a lot of young talent in there, with the emphasis on young. And you got a sprinkling of guys in there who are just fucking horrible too, like Essan Masters.
Yes, that's it.
Cohen Hess. Remember when Cohen Hess was a thing?
Yeah,
for
one season.
Yeah, not anymore. I just don't. The only player that really inspires any fear in me is Francis Molo there starting at prop because he's literally killed someone on the football field before. But other than that, I mean, I'm not laughing. That's a joke. Yeah, that's some real shit. That guy had fucking kids and everything. Francis Molo should never be fucking playing football again. The cunt. Never forget.
I don't see any world in which the bounce the Cowboys get is high enough to take this Manly side.
You know what? I don't even think I don't think it's going to be the bounce that gives them the opportunity. Going up there in North Queensland at the moment in the COVID era is a difficult thing because teams have to fly up there the day and then play the game at 6 p.m. So that sort of thing, could be a factor. But I think also it's obviously a massive lift to have Fanua Blake back in the side, and he's the kind of when you're in a game with Taumalolo, you need your own fucking guy that's going to cart up 200 meters and shit as well, to match it. And no one else in our side would have been able to do that. So it's great to have him back.
Look, I'm just happy that your winning percentage now without your fucking retarded effort face fullback is actually a number.
Well, look, I mean, we'd have to isolate all the games as always. We have to isolate the games where he's the player that's out. At the moment, we had 4 out of 5 of our best players out last week. This week, we got one back, so that's great. So now we only got 3 out of 5.
Yeah, selective data sampling doesn't work. It's a number. Just be happy with
You're actually selective data sampling here. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Just be happy it's a number.
And I'll be happy that it's a number this week and a number next week too. But
once it's a number, you can't go back to it's not a number. We're talking about percentages.
Well, we're talking about the number growing massively.
Okay.
Unlike a certain person's fucking exposed penis.
Manly.
Yeah, Manly. The Broncos take on the Storm at Suncorp Stadium. We don't even have to talk about last week's game. Let's see the Broncos though. They do have some changes. Dearden's coming in. He's going to be the halfback. Corey Pakes is going to be the hooker. They bring in Tyson Gamble, Reece Kennedy on the interchange. Shuffled. Milford goes to fullback. Brody Croft goes to 5'8". Ben Teo's on the interchange. I mean, where he should be at best. And then Corio's injured with the compound fracture that wasn't.
Yeah.
And the compound fracture that was a hematoma. Isaac Luke dropped. Jermaine Osako dropped. Tessie New, I thought was dropped, but then I think they said he might be having like wrist surgery or something as well. Look, I don't fucking care about any of these things that the Brisbane Broncos have done. This is the absolute epitome of shuffling the fucking deck, the chairs on the deck of the Titanic. Yeah. Like this, the epitome of it.
Yeah.
Darius Boyd's still there at 4.
Yep.
Honestly, and
there is no fucking way that this Broncos team, like, if they put a try on them, it would only be through complete defensive slumber because Melbourne know that they could actually let the Broncos score as many as they wanted.
I'm going to tell you the scenario. The scenario is a Melbourne Storm player actually has a compound fracture. And the bone is just like sticking out, and then his guy on his left and his guy on his right are just like vomiting on the field, and then that creates a 3-man deficiency in the line that the Broncos just get over in the corner and it has to go upstairs because the line may be in question.
Yeah, okay.
And the put down. That's
and the player in the fucking box is Matt Lodge. Right. Looking even, and Melbourne played some relatively poor opposition last week as well, but they just do so many fucking things right. Like, look around it, and even just the little fucking deceptive plays. Now, this is a sort of gamesmanship I don't mind, where Melbourne do everything to set up on a short side, and then just don't go there.
Yep.
But everyone knows exactly what they're doing and they do their little fucking jobs to absolute perfection. They're just fucking clinical. They relentlessly go up the middle. That's where Brisbane's soft. You look at what they got out wide. Like, Addo Carr was so fucking fast last week that he got up, he scored his try, and he had run out of breath cheering himself before other people got to him to congratulate himself.
Yeah.
That's how fucking quick the cut is.
Yeah.
In saying that, the Storm made 16 errors last week. So there's a little bit of a softer.
Yeah, but do you have like a graph on when those errors took place?
Yeah, they're not trash time errors.
I mean, because they're
not trash time
they're
errors.
leading by a lot very quickly.
Yeah, but this year it's been very un-Melbourne like in terms of the discipline this year. So there's no way in the fucking world that Brisbane get them. I was just making that point that there's the odd drops in them.
Yeah, they happen.
Melbourne 13 plus, put your house on it.
The one thing that was interesting in this game, though, in the lineup initially, you've got Jamil Hopewade in 16.
Yes.
When the teams were originally announced,
yeah,
it was John Hopewade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And for a second, you get excited. You think, well, fuck, the Broncos have finally got someone in who actually can penetrate the line. But no, it's Jamil. The Warriors take on the Roosters Saturday Arvo at Central Coast Stadium. In for the Warriors, you've got Pompey, Channel Harris-Tavita and Lachlan Burr. Hetherington has been promoted to prop, starting. Jazz Tavanga is in. Herbert is out, and Parsi and Carl Lawton are out. And so Parsi won't be taking the field in his last Australian game of the season. And this is the last game for Fuss and Mamalo.
Yeah. Look, we all know the issues with the Warriors. We've been over it. And this is one of those things where it is just a fucking sad reality of the situation in the world at the moment. Looking at the Warriors forwards last week, Blair ran for 45 metres.
Yeah, I saw an article about that today, actually. He copped a bollocking.
Yeah.
As rightly so.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Parsi ran for 45 metres.
So obviously Parsi, he's just not been in it for however fucking long.
Papali'i ran for 39 metres.
Yep.
Tanil Brown ran for 74. Tohu Harris ran for 87. But that took him 12 runs.
Yep.
So that's the sort of stuff. Like, it's fucking hard being a forward to get out there and for 80 minutes, like, absolutely busting yourself, running into guys that are just as fucking massive as you are.
Mm-hmm.
They've got three mates with them.
Yep.
And you got to do that over and over and over and over and over again. That's the sort of stuff that when you've been away from home for months and you miss your family and you miss your kids and all this stuff, that's what goes first. So the Warriors just aren't going to be a threat, I don't think, from here on in any way, shape, or form. So
no, the Roosters uncharacteristic. Like it was funny that game the other night with the Roosters and the Raiders. It never really felt like there was any time there where the Roosters were like losing that game.
Yeah,
and I mean even to the point where it was only by the grace of a narrowly forward pass at the end there that they would have scored down the left and actually won the game as well. Like, yeah, it just felt like they were kind of in comfort mode for, until the last sort of 5 minutes or 3-4 minutes when they're down to like 2 possessions to go.
Yeah. And maybe that was positive for them because there were some fucking soft defensive choices made and efforts made up the middle that night by the Roosters, especially close to their try line. Very uncharacteristic. But maybe that's what they needed. And not a bad opposition to go up against the next week when you're trying to consolidate.
Yep. And they've lost Angus Crichton for this one. Nat Butcher comes in. And what else have we got there? Orbison in the second row. Isaac Liu to lock. And SST at prop. And they've pushed out Lindsay Collins to the interchange bench.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I think the Roosters it's almost crazy to even talk about. Yeah. Teams like the Roosters up against teams like the Warriors. I don't think there's any possible upset boil-over scenario. Like, the Warriors are just down on troops. I saw an article as well where they're saying, like, also, this whole play alone thing is great and all, but the players that we're being offered are like all unfucking tried.
Yeah.
Like my idea is to send some Manly guys over there to get them some game
on.
time. Like, yeah, we're getting these like 20-year-old untried players. We actually might just opt out of this whole loan scheme altogether and try and use fucking the scraps we've got sat around here, and because really they've seen through it. People we're blooding talent for other people, or that's what other people want us to do. But yeah, I think the Roosters, anyone versus the Warriors in the near future is almost a guaranteed win, unfortunately, for the Cuzzies. The Sharks take on the Dragons at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium. The Sharks have Jack Williams into the side. They have Wilton onto the interchange. And Toby Rudolph goes to the lock. Talakai to second row. And Britton Nakora and Scott Sorensen out. The Dragons, Jacob Host comes into the interchange. Fuimaono comes in the second row. Tarek Sims out. Now, let's be honest. The Dragons did not deserve to win that game last week.
No, they did not.
It took some of the stupidest fucking looking... Like, there are stupid plays that people do from now and then that result in stuff. But then there are plays that are like an extra so stupid that they just look ultra embarrassing. Like, just... terrible, embarrassing shit. And that final play of that game to let Corey Norman score that try was one of those just all time.
Yep.
Like, I have no love for either side and no particular animosity for either side.
Nope.
Watching the game as an extreme neutral with the only vested interest being that I wanted the Dogs to win because it gave the chance to the Broncos to get the spoon.
Yes.
But... that play was so fucking embarrassing. It was like watching George Costanza on Seinfeld or something. It was like, you're just embarrassed. Like, we're watching Ricky Gervais on The Office. It's like, you're just so fucking embarrassed for him.
Yes.
Like,
you are cringing.
Just the epitome of cringe.
Yes.
The Doggies in the first half, though, they went quite well, and the Dragons were fucking awful. And the Dragons' points, I mean, they must have scored. They scored 2 tries like in the last, 5?
Yep.
3? So and then the Sharks, I mean, once again, what do you say about them? They beat up on an absolutely hapless opposition that we've already established are not there.
Yep.
The week before, they were fucking slaughtered by your Panthers. And it ultimately boils down to it's a difficult game to pick because the Dragons have certainly been playing better, and they're form. I think they're 4 out of the last 6 games or something like that. I mean, they've actually got winning form of late.
The difference is, I think the ceiling for the Sharks is a lot higher than the Dragons.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
The Dragons over the last couple of weeks have been relying on a little bit of good fortune, and you obviously, again, just like with the Tigers, you need to be there and take advantage of it to make it happen. But things like, last week for the Dragons when Lomax had his catch, incredible fucking take and then pass to Dufty to score that try.
Yep.
That's not a high percentage play that you formulated at training and that you've identified a weakness in the defence to go at them over and over and over until it succeeds. That was a fucking highlight reel, and it looks great, and it's worth 4 points just like any other try. But that's not the sort of thing that you can back continued success on. The gap that Aiken ran through for his try doesn't tend to appear before you every week when you're playing better quality sides. My feel for this game is that the Sharks have enough of a little brother syndrome against the Dragons still.
And they've played, recently, and the Sharks were lost in I think it was the first win that the Dragons had all year.
Yep.
So,
and that this is an opportunity for the Sharks to really pull the Dragons down to their style of play and beat them with experience. I expect this one to get a little bit gritty, and the Sharks are a better team at that.
Yep. I agree. The Raiders take on the Rabbitohs at GIO. So, with the Raiders, Harley Smith-Shields comes into the interchange. Jordan Rapiner moves to centre. Semi Valemay goes to the wing. Oldfield's out. Bateman in the 21. Which seems kind of massively premature, right? The Rabbits.
Yeah, they probably just need a name.
Yeah.
I just had to fill it in.
Yeah. So the Rabbits, Campbell Graham into centre, Jack Johns to interchange, Bailey Siren in the second row, and Ethan Lowe and James Roberts are out.
Yeah,
The
Bunnies, like they had a fucking great comeback in the last 15 minutes once the Knights had pretty much put the cue in the rack.
I tell you what, though, that last 15 minutes, Damien Cook was doing Damien Cook shit.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, okay, he remembers.
Up until that point, South's attack was that fucking stiff that necrophiliacs were trying to fuck it. It was absolutely fucking nowhere. I remember the feeling coming to me as I was watching them in the first little while of this game. There's no movement in their attack until the ball lands.
Yep.
And that South Sydney side that was absolutely fucking dangerous everywhere last year, the entire fucking line, they were running with that much fucking depth, but there was movement. Everyone was moving. Almost every tackle. In this one, you're stagnant till the ball gets out.
Yep.
It's a completely different offensive setup.
Yep.
Canberra, you know, if there is one thing that Ricky Stewart knows how to do, it's get people worked up for a cause.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously had the motivation for them to do that last week because they were a fucking solid football team.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, you know, predictions of their death were exaggerated. I actually couldn't believe how. And I mean, even it was just the second half thing too, because even in the first half, that game was kind of going to the script that I thought it would. So I mean, it was massive credit to them to turn it around in the second half the way they did.
Yeah, a tough one.
I
think the Raiders will be too strong in the middle.
Yeah, and across the whole park, I just can't. Like, the Rabbits are one of the most confusing sides this season because they should be. You look at them and they should be good, and they win some games, but they're just. I can't rate them.
Yep.
So I'm going to say, I mean, even though I thought the Canberra Raiders were slipping, I think the Raiders are going to get them. The Knights take on the Bulldogs at McDonald Jones. Knights, no changes to their squad. The Doggies, Avarillo comes into centre. Brandon Wakeham to interchange. Marcelo Montoya goes to the wing. And Christian Crichton and Suaso Su are out.
Yeah. Again, you would assume a foregone conclusion. I'm just looking. Bradman Best is paying $2 anytime try scorer, so put your house on that. Or put all the winnings that you gotten from our rock solid tips on putting every single Storm player as an anytime try scorer. Multi that shit into this.
Yeah.
Fucking and send us 10%. There is no way that there is anything but one potential outcome in this one.
Yeah, there was certainly no bounce, for the Doggies last week. Although I say that, but they probably scored their highest total of the year, right?
Look, there were times. There were times last week that the Doggies seemed to lift their intensity and lift their pace, and they weren't just being fucking useless plodders.
Those times were called the times when Kieran Foran was on the field. And then when I honestly believe that if he had been on the field in the last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, second half, if he had been on the field, they would have won, and I think they would have won easily.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. So
Knights, 13 plus.
The Titans take on the Panthers. It's Seabus. You going down to this?
I don't know.
Sunday afternoon at 4.
I have an extremely fucking important occasion. My young niece is turning 1, so I'll be down there on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent some time down the Gold Coast last weekend.
Yes. So
I might have PFSD, which is post-fucking stress disorder. But we'll see. And honestly, I haven't looked at the clusterfuck to get tickets yet either. I assume it'll be a fucking lottery and Oh, no, it's the Titans. They'll be fucking
Yeah, exactly.
nice.
So anyway, the Gold Coast Titans side, Copley's in centre, Kevin Proctor the second row, Sammy goes to the wing, Spry demoted to the reserves, and Bo Firma is out. The Panthers, Caleb Aikens comes in to fullback, replacing Dylan Edwards, injured again. Mitch Kenny comes into hooker, replacing Appy, and Malaki Wateni-Zalesniak comes onto the wing. The hole created by Dean Farre.
It's the best chance. It's the best chance any side's had to get us all year when we are fucking ravaged with injuries. Have the obvious choice for New South Wales hooker on the sidelines. And Titans will always get up for a Panthers game.
Why?
Oh, the fact that we didn't want Tyrone Peachy or Bryce Cartwright or any of the other fucking rejects we sent up there.
Yeah, well, Peachy's the only one that's actually going to be anywhere near the stadium in this game.
Is Mitch Rain? No, Mitch Rain's not playing, is he?
No. Aaron Clark, I think, is pretty much taken that one.
Oh, well done, Titans. Well fucking done. Look, this habit Penrith have recently of getting off to flying starts and scoring in the first couple of minutes and then just doing fuck all for half an hour.
Yeah.
You can't... Oh, look, okay, you probably can do that against Titans, but I don't want them to.
Yeah, but remember, the Warriors did that against the Titans.
True,
yeah.
Exactly.
And look where that got them.
Yeah, exactly. This is a game where it's risky because, as I've said previously, the most dangerous thing in the world is a Penrith Panthers player that understands that they might be in a good team.
Yep.
Complacency is a fucking huge risk. A huge risk. This team, I think, is more mentally stable and able to get out of bad situations better than Panthers teams of years before, like they showed against the Cowboys. And Nathan Cleary last week put on a fucking Dally M winning performance. When he collects the fucking Dally M in the hashtag year of Cleary, there will be highlights from this game. That's essentially when his campaign picked up momentum. And he's leading with his defense. To have your half go out there and just off the top of my head, there was that example like where he's making like 2 tackles in one set and the second one knocks the ball free. Fucking absolute try savers meters out from the try line. He is the best defensive 7 in the comp at the moment. And that is not hyperbole. Name a better defensive 7.
I'm just working my way through the competition at the moment just to think about who plays 7 for every team in the competition. I don't know.
Exactly.
I guess
because I ain't one.
Yeah, I guess he just needs to. It's just a testament to the field, to the players that he has around him, that he has to be doing doing shit that's not his job.
He feels so inspired to get in there.
He has to do shit. He's like it's like if Tony Carroll wasn't doing his share, and Darren Lockie's like, fuck, I'll muck in.
Well, you look, and on that note, it is funny you say that because the unsung fucking heroes are guys like Fisher Harris.
I don't think he's unsung at all.
Most underrated player in rugby league.
Oh, fuck, here we go. That's the 4th one. Is it the 4th one in 2 years?
Well, as soon as I start saying that, can't start rating them. No?
I thought it was Liam Martin like 2 weeks ago.
It was. But have you heard the fucking praise he's getting?
No.
Honestly,
no.
People are calling him solid. That's not underrated. They're calling him workmanlike. But Fisher's numbers last week, 246 metres and 58 tackles with only 3 misses. That's fucking massive. You know? That's the sort of effort that they'll need. And as long as everything goes to plan and they can have a game plan structured around the replacements that have had to make and where the Titans are weak, everywhere, Penrith should win fairly comfortably.
I can't believe you spent this long talking about a fucking game against the Titans, to be perfectly honest. The fact that a conversation even needs to be had about the prospects of the Panthers winning against the fucking Titans.
It's because, we're in the same position as Manly. Like, we have been cruelled by injuries. Obviously, not as crucial to our team as the fullback that you've built your club around.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dylan Edwards, it's funny. You do a Google search on Dylan Edwards, and like the top 10 fucking results are 2017 knee injury, fucking 2018 shoulder injury. Dylan Edwards is out. Dylan Edwards is going to be moved on to the club because he's fucking never plays because he's injured.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I'm saying, I'm trying to empathise with you here about having a biscuity fullback.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what that feels like, to be honest.
Couldn't you?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And
just make sure yours is right for Origin. That's all I care about.
he'll be right for the grand
Penrith
final,
13
and
plus.
then obviously, fucking duh.
Well, he'll probably want to go to the grand final because he'll be swept up in hashtag Yeary of Cleary momentum like everyone else.
Unlikely.
Like the biggest challenge that fucking Volandis has to face is how to have whoever faces us in the grand final not like showing up on the big screen hashtagging Yeary of Cleary on their Twitter account.
Literally 0 players
Like
in the National Rugby League will ever tweet that fucking hashtag.
Or just have them not just want to go, here, Nathan, and just pass the ball to him because it's fucking Yeary of Cleary.
Yeah. He'll fucking get some kind of degenerative chin disease, and they'll pass the ball to him when he's riding around in the back of a fucking ute with the rest of the retiring players. Okay, mailbag this week. First up, Stuart. If, hypothetically, Newcastle beat Brisbane 48-0 and all the press was about the Broncos, would there be howls for credit? As a Tigers fan, I don't care because it's all part of the cosmic ballet that is ninth and the Eels will belt us tomorrow. So I think what he's saying is that no one's giving the West Tigers credit for beating the Broncos 48-0.
And he's trying to hide that as saying Knights fans whinge about credit. In fact, In fact, he is the fucking credit.
He is the one seeking credit.
Yes.
And as the old bankers of the of the show, we have to say denied. Mitch said, how bad has Queensland culture and attitude gotten when they can take a finely tuned, expertly coached premiership winning athletes like Jack Bird and Val Holmes and turn them to the mud? Poor blokes, you hate to see it. Defund Queensland Rugby League, kick them all out of the comp with Souths. Couldn't agree more on every point. Hamish said, what are your thoughts on the Warriors getting all home games next season? Is that an actual thing or is that a mooted, potential thing? If they did, I don't have a massive issue with it. I mean, getting all home games is different to serving all games as away games. Yeah, I mean, there's a huge fucking difference in those two scenarios.
Yeah, that's it.
But hey, if they're this shit, doesn't matter where they play, right?
Yeah.
No, look, I guess it comes down to what do you believe is the Warriors' payment for the sacrifice they've made this season to play their part to keep the competition going intact, in full.
Yeah, you know what? Some real talk.
Their continued presence in the competition. Being paid.
Looking at it, just because I don't know this off the top of my head, and I'll be wondering if you'd find it. You might have to just go fucking right back. So round one, they lost by 20 points to the Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Round 2, they lost by 14 points to the Raiders.
That was that one where they got a penalty try.
That's it.
And and up to that point, they hadn't scored a try.
Now, round 3,
yeah,
they beat the Dragons 18-0 because they're shit cunts.
Yep. Then they got fucking blown out again.
Round 4, we fucking analed them. Do we have 3 or 4 rounds before shutdown?
2.
3.
2.
What?
2 games. Yeah, 2.
So round 3 was the first one back.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is why it was a weird.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 2 games. So they'd lost both their games by a margin of 20 and 14.
Not scored a legitimate try amongst themselves
That's it.
at any point there. Yeah.
If they couldn't stay,
Mm-hmm.
then what would have happened was there would have been a clause written into the rule somewhere that says, anytime you were marked to play the Warriors, we're going to do up a new draw.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you were marked to play the Warriors, that's now a bye.
Yep. Exactly. You get 2 points and then
That's it.
Move on. Yep.
Yep, spot on.
Yeah, so I think I think their payment their payment is the gratitude of the fan base, warm fuzzy feelings, players getting paid.
Yep. And the fucking reality that this year is not fair, be it in sport, be it in business, be it in life. Cunts have lost jobs, cunts have lost livelihoods, people have lost fucking friends and family members because fucking suicides through the roof. This is a shit cunt of a year. No one saw it coming. Hopefully it never happens again. Everyone's out there doing the best they can, and everyone should be commended for doing the best they can, but no one owes anyone anything.
And next year, with all things being returned to normality, if that is the case, normality is normality.
Who the fuck knows? Who knows if travel's allowed next year?
Yeah. Honestly, with these fucking retards down in Victoria at the moment, fucking it up for everybody else. I'm starting. They're starting to see some cases in South Australia again. Wonder where they came from.
Yeah.
I betcha. Fucking they came from dickheads sneaking over the.
What did I read today? There's like 186 people or something the Queensland government can't find because they gave false information on their border crossing pass.
Yeah. So,
I said that. I had to go to the Apple store the other day, right? And I had to pick something up. It was a gift for my cousin's 18th.
Yep.
So I had to pick it up. I get to the line and the guy goes, have you had these symptoms in the last week? Have you been in contact with something? This. And I was like, no, man, I'm fine. Just a quick one, though. Like, do you think if somebody really had to get inside and pick up their computer that you'd repaired, do you think they're telling you the truth?
Yep.
That's my biggest thing, that all of this fucking stuff works on people going, yeah, no, I'll do that.
Yeah.
When, no, they're going to fucking blow a security guard to be allowed to go for a Slurpee.
And the only stores, have you seen the only stores that are actually doing anything remotely responsible about the whole COVID thing? Places from Japan.
Oh, no, Apple are doing it.
Well, they're just asking you questions.
No, then they take your temperature.
I was going to say, because that's where I was down at Chermside on Sunday.
Then they sanitize you.
Yeah.
And they provide you with a mask to wear in store.
Oh, the mask. That's an additional fucking feature.
It. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's some Sam Fran fucking nous right there. I don't know.
San Fran doesn't have that much. If they had so much nous, they wouldn't have so many fucking homeless people. All right.
Very clear windscreens. Very.
Jordan, with Greeny opting to leave the club on his own accord, how do you think the future of North Queensland will turn out? Will we possibly see the return of Paney as a coach, or are the dark days of Siebes ahead?
I don't think either of those.
You'll end up with Kevy, I reckon.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
And
then probably his son. Wouldn't that be fucking great?
Like just this massive dynasty
of sons not going to the Tigers because their dads are coaching elsewhere.
And it would just be so appropriate though.
Yeah.
And it would keep Tigers fans signing up to Twitter for generations to come. I think that they'll end up with something like Kevy. They'll end up with like a Queensland guy.
Yep.
Especially this year because with coaching now, the talent pool that's available. There are none of these left wing situations where like a guy's being brought in that's successful in the English Super League or something like that. That ain't happening in the near future. We know what the talent pool is. We know who's available. And I think that Kevy has that vibe that he's up next.
Yep.
And I think that his opinion may be, influenced somewhat by if the Broncos can harshly move on Seabold sooner rather than later. that might give him a bit of a pause. And I think he'd take Brisbane if the two offers were, the same.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if they somehow entrench him and it's made very clear that Seabold ain't going anywhere for like another year or two, then I wouldn't surprise me to see him up there.
Mm.
Alexander said, if you guys were to make out, who would be Pearce and who would be Ponga? I don't know.
Well,
I mean, you got to think of the thought process. Like,
I've definitely fucked some things and then been concerned if they had rabies afterwards.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, fuck some dogs in that time. I mean, like, that could be either. I'm sure.
I'd be happy to throw the wager down on that one.
I don't know. None of us are secret rangers though. There's something in the con thing.
No. None of us have been ever given lots of money just based on hype.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd just throw the question back to you.
Maybe I'd be Pierce, you'd be the dog, I think.
I'd put this question back to Alexander and just say, look, why do we have to be Pearce and Ponga? Why can't we just fucking make out?
Exactly.
Why do we have to like be football players for teams we don't even follow or like? Andy says, do we want to take the effort to mock Union for their laughable $20 million a year broadcast deal, or are they simply not worthy of our attention? Both, really. They're not worthy of our attention, but I think it is fucking hilarious, the decline of that sport over the last 30 odd years. I remember when I was at school and like Union was like huge back when Australia would win stuff, and just to see the decline of the general the participation outside of private schools, the general quality of the Super Rugby competition, like the Australian sides in that competition, and the absolute decline of the media. And I mean, like this year, they had trouble getting a media deal and they got this paltry $20 million deal. But I remember like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I remember I saw something on Twitter and someone was talking about the Queensland Reds were playing some fucking team that night. It was in March or February or late February or March or something. And I was like, oh, the Super Rugby started up again, has it? It must have started up again. Oh no, this is like the third game of the season.
Oh, fuck.
And like I feel like that being on social media as much as I am and stuff, that you kind of see news pass you by and you kind of have an awareness of generally of what's going on. But nope.
But see, here's the thing. I can tell you that there's the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Waratahs.
Mm-hmm.
And the Crusaders.
Mm-hmm.
Only because they tried to change that after the...
Oh, Brenton over there.
That's it.
Shooting up, bok.
I can't tell you any other Super Rugby teams.
There's like a Melbourne-ish team or two, maybe.
Didn't they get shut down?
I don't know. Or was that Perth?
Oh, okay.
And there's like...
Yeah,
there's like ACT.
Yeah.
And there's teams from...
Yeah. Fine.
Like South Africa or something, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying to you. Look, it's
Bullfrogs.
an international sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the Johannesburg racists or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Sun City or fucking something or others.
Yeah. The fucking, I don't know, what's another city in South Africa? The Cape Town electric fence manufacturers. The Cape Town compounds.
Or the Soweto shanties.
There you go.
They won it one year, I think.
Did they?
Scrappy side. Yeah.
It at some stage, and look, there are still plenty of sports in Australia that get along with almost like what's the sponsorship? What's the TV rights deal for netball?
I don't know. Not much, I would imagine.
Now, I'm not taking away from anything as a sport. before fucking Ben Dunn gets sand in his vagina and fucking runs at me. I'm sure it's fine. It's great. Yes, it takes a lot of skill. It's just not much fun to watch. But it still survives. Like it's on the ABC, and the people who want to watch it will seek it out and do that, and fucking more power to them. Live and let live. I don't think rugby will ever go away for all those reasons you stated before about its place in schools and its history, and there's always that thing of the old boys that want to see the
and it'll certainly never go away, in the sense that it's extremely still strong in in England and Europe and like New Zealand and South America.
Yep.
I mean, there's these fucking places that are
yeah, exactly. But I think within Australia it will just find its niche and
somewhere like as a less popular netball.
Yes.
And maybe slightly above darts.
Fuck off. Darts are awesome.
Well, that's true. I mean, I admit, there has never been, in the history of rugby union, there has never been a moment nearly as exciting as when the guy goes, 180! like never.
Yeah.
I mean, World Cups and all that shit. Never. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I remember...
What kind of sport when a guy can be a world fucking class champion with a dart in one hand and a pint?
Yeah. But do you remember, when... Back in the day, when Wide World of Sports that was all that was on TV on a weekend.
Yep.
And it just sort of be on in the background all day.
Yep. Yeah, and they just keep they flick between all sorts of shit. Yeah.
And then once a year, there was that thing at the Snow where the people would build those fucking ridiculous things and try and go down the ramp.
Yeah.
And clear the pond.
Yep.
Rugby is shitter than that.
Well, yeah.
And that's where it lands.
Well, fucking obviously, though. I mean,
that's
under
awesome.
under every criteria. I mean, because that's entertaining as shit. And
just as repetitive as rugby.
Maybe okay, well, here we go. Now we can talk about ideas of how to get the sport back up on its feet in Australia. I've got a fucking great idea. Let's take from your call back to the old thing. And it was also like the one they used to do on the Brisbane River there near the Botanic Gardens, where they had that gigantic, tall construction with a jump off it, and people would dress up and make like these self-styled sort of plane suit things and jump in the Brisbane River and like try and glide as long as they could, but they just fall like a rock.
And there'd be that guy who made like this epic fucking artistically accurate like Red Baron triplane.
And it just goes straight off. So like you take that and like the snow thing you're talking about and everything. And so then you have and this would be fucking huge in Japan as well. I mean, I know I like rugby anyway, but I mean, if I want Australia to be relevant over there, you get the people to make their own robot sort of like Gundam costume, like fighting robot sort of battle armor things, and the teams, and they wear that. See, now I'd watch that.
Yeah.
Even more so if you're like, even then you can roll another sport that's better than rugby union into it, like that Robot Wars that had the guy that was in Red Dwarf hosting the show.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And like you get and so they get their suits that they've got, and they've got like little chainsaws and shit, and like little so they actually like they get into a mall and they're actually like fucking chainsawing players apart.
No, so you have.
I just realised it's Mutant League football like on the old Sega Mega Drive.
So you get a game of rugby.
Yeah.
But then you get a bunch of fucking nerds that these cunts bullied in high school.
Yeah.
And you give them the remote controls of these Achilles height chainsaw robots. And there's 3 of those on the field at any given time. And they just get to go around randomly.
Just killing the people that flushed them
hacking into their ankles.
Or you take the nerds and you fucking augment them. you get... I tell you, rugby.
Fucking
the problem is
call us Raylene. We'll fucking save you.
Well, didn't she stand down because she's such a? I think she's fucked off.
Oh, such a good operator though.
Yeah, she's great. Well, one of the best young operators in the game.
Yeah.
She's probably gone and fucking grabbed Todd and fucking tipped the fucking leader of Crisco over Greenberg's head and bashing herself with him. 2 young operators, best young operators in the game, going hell for leather. Oh, that's full time. Full-time for episode 360. Thanks for listening, everyone. As always, you can interact with us on Twitter, so follow at TWiL League. The Facebook community, hashtag TWiLNation, lives at facebook.com/groups/TWiLNation. Get in there. It's great. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/This Week in the League. Make sure you hit the like button, share the stuff around, help us spread the word. What else? Make sure the easiest way to support us is give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to go the extra mile, our digital memberships are still available and can be picked up anytime for only $3.99 a month. Tipping. King Kong is still on top. He still has a 2-point break on the competition. Next, we've got 6 again, yeah, and then we go back 1 more point with a massive log jam for the rest of the top 10 with Bradman didn't push him. Andy, Sneaky Kiwi, Matt, Benny89, Cowboy, Christian Lynn, and Nova Clarkstrian. And I just wanted to pay an extra homage to the person who's in number 11 at the moment on our tipping chart, whose username is Panthers Cameraman. So thank you for listening, Tyrone.
Panthers Cameraman.
Yep. So that's Tyrone May, right? I mean, that's what he does. We had a review come through this week too. 5 stars. I came for the hype, and I just keep coming in brackets back from Johnny Boy 1. I stumbled across this podcast in 2016 when I was devouring NRL content due to my Raiders red hot form at the time. The Raiders hype has certainly ebbed and flowed since then, but my love of this podcast certainly hasn't. It's the only NRL podcast I listen to now. The quality of league team and player analysis is exceptional. But not only that, I am genuinely entertained. Every time I listen to an episode, I laugh out loud so much. And no, I'm not being hyperbolic. I give this podcast 5 stars because there isn't an option for a 6 star. Hashtag Thinking Man's Podcast. What a tremendous fucking review. One of the best reviews I've ever heard.
What a great human as well.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate you taking the time and just such a fucking great review as well. That's all I have really down on the notes for this week. Now, as we've gone through and we've just done that new format for the first time, I look at the time and I realise that it actually saved us nothing. So I'm almost prepared to say that that's a once-off experiment that shan't be repeated. But hey, we had a go.
Let us know. Is it just clunky to us because we're doing it and we just sort of did it off the top of our dome?
Yeah.
As we rock.
It just feels because obviously teams and the way the draw is set up, they aren't playing each other twice in a row.
Yeah.
I just feel like we kind of can potentially double up on things. Yeah. When you're talking about the 2 different participants in a game. So
we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us, and we can, we'll get better at it if we have to do it more. But yeah, I'm with you on that one, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Should we talk about this sponsor that's coming on board in a couple of weeks?
We'll say
we're allowed to. We're allowed to. We are allowed to talk about it.
Look, we have a sponsor coming on board.
Consider this like an advanced sort of like warning.
Advanced warning.
It won't be next week's episode. It's locked. It's locked in to be the week after. So 362 is going to be the trial episode with a potential partnership on the table here. And it's a brand that, if you listen to podcasts, you definitely know who they are.
You would have heard them in the States.
They have partnered with shows like, I don't listen to a fuck of a lot of podcasts these days because I don't have the time, but the ones that I do make the time for, they've been on all of them, like Bill Burr and Rogan and Bill Burt and like Jeselnik and all that sort of shit.
Yep.
So it's great. We're very excited that they approached us, and that we could hammer out a deal, and then there'll be a bit of a trial, and that trial is going to be episode 362. So when that trial happens, if you guys have ever thought about purchasing from this sponsor, we're going to have a 20% off deal for you, which saves a fucking lot of money, and
that's a fucking great opportunity to support the show.
It is
long term.
Exactly. So
the sky's the fucking limit.
It's the first time that we've had a number of sponsors in the past, but they've generally been businesses that don't know what they're doing with like podcasting, and it's like we're like the first people they've ever sort of partnered with and things like that. These guys, on the other hand, have partnered with the biggest names. They know exactly what the fuck they're doing. So the whole process has been very educational and just in how smooth it's all gone and how professional it's all gone. So we're really looking forward to it, and hopefully it turns into something. It turns into something more. But we are extremely happy, and all will be revealed in 2 short weeks. And
Yes.
that's about it.
Nice.
That's all I got for this week. So on that note, talk to you next week.
Later.